Doug Gottlieb, let's start and break it down from the regional finals all the way to the title.
Well, RD, maybe it's because I, like you, actually live here in Connecticut. I'm feeling chalky like my skin. That's why I like Louisville, coming out of their region in the Midwest, matching up with Michigan State. I think their length will give the Spartans a problem. Louisville will move on. I have Missouri beating Memphis because you press a pressing team, and I don't like the Tyreek Evans against that type of pressure. I have Connecticut, however, beating Missouri. In the East, Pitt, Duke. Where do we see this? MSG. Pitt won that time. They'll win this one as well. And Syracuse and North Carolina. Syracuse beating Clemson because Clemson's too much for Oklahoma. In the Final Four, Louisville and UConn. I like the Ville, even though they're beaten by 17 points. I don't think UConn's the same without Dyson. Carolina survives Pittsburgh. Again, Pittsburgh doesn't have the offense this time in the Final Four to advance. Carolina advances. Louisville, North Carolina, the number 1 and number 3 preseason teams. I like North Carolina. I still believe they're the team to beat, Jay.
Well, those are all great picks. I'm going chalk as well. And starting out in the West, I'm going with Louisville. I think that Louisville is an outstanding basketball team because of their defense. They can press, force turnovers. I think they're going to wind up playing Michigan State. And even though Michigan State has very good depth, I think Louisville is going to move on. I have Connecticut and Memphis. But even though Connecticut has Hashim Thabit, I've got Memphis moving on because of their defense. Down in the East, I'm going with Pittsburgh and Villanova. I think Pittsburgh will move on because they're stronger inside. I think Villanova's guards are great, but I got Pittsburgh moving on, and I've got North Carolina beating Syracuse. Syracuse, I think they're going to advance that far, even though they may be tired. Louisville and Memphis, I've got Louisville. I think that Louisville's press is going to make the difference in that game. And Pittsburgh, North Carolina, I like Carolina. If Ty Lawson is healthy and he plays, I think Ty Lawson makes the absolute difference. North Carolina is going to be able to get their possessions up, and North Carolina, Louisville, a rematch of the Elite Eight last season in Charlotte. I've got North Carolina winning that game and winning the national championship, Digger.
Well, we look at the Big East, we know what's there, and you also know when you look at the Big 12, there's some solid teams there, plus North Carolina. So when I look at my bracket, it's coming down to this. I have Louisville and Kansas, with Louisville taking possession over Kansas. Connecticut, Missouri. I think Missouri can beat Connecticut. I think Connecticut has problems on the free throw line. Pittsburgh, Xavier, no issues there because I think Pitt's a solid team. Obviously, North Carolina, I think they take care of business against Oklahoma. But I love Louisville to take care of business, knocking off with the pressure defense against Missouri. But Pittsburgh can knock off. It's going to be a great matchup. I love Blair against Hansborough, and I picked Pittsburgh in a payback game when they lost at Louisville to win a national championship.
All right, Coach, I like your bracket, but I had a lot of differences. So let's start off with Louisville and Michigan State. I think Louisville is going to win this game. Michigan State, one of the problems they've been having is turnovers. And against a Louisville team that's outstanding defensively, I've got Louisville advancing. Purdue versus Memphis. I've got Memphis going in to the Final Four. I think Purdue is playing well, shooting the ball from the outside, but I think they will struggle against the length defensively from Memphis. Then you look at Pitt and Nova. I've got Villanova. I'm not convinced that DeJuan Blair will stay out of foul trouble, and I just love the guard play, and Dante Cunningham down low for Villanova. North Carolina versus Oklahoma. What a matchup down low between Tyler Hansborough and Blake Griffin, back-to-back players of the year. I think Oklahoma will struggle shooting the ball from three-point range. I've got North Carolina going to the Final Four. Out of that region, I've got Memphis beating Louisville. Again, too good defensively. The length, even though they would take care of the basketball, I've got them going to the championship. And then North Carolina beating Nova. Tyler Hansborough will dominate in that game. And then this time, North Carolina got to the Final Four last year, didn't get it done. I think they get back with a healthy Ty Lawson at the point guard position, and they win a national championship.
Tar Heels, a very popular pick. What say you, Dick Vitale?
Well, you know, I got Chalk City as well. I might as well take my same one as Jay. In the first matchup, I got Louisville out in the Midwest playing Michigan State. Two of my favorite coaches, the Linguini Special, Patino versus Izzo. Then I have Connecticut and Memphis, two giants, two Goliaths, talking about Calhoun and certainly John Calipari. Too much to beat in that matchup. Then I go to the East, Pittsburgh and Duke. Too much balance. Blair, Fields on the outside. Duke has no answer for the interior. I give the edge Pittsburgh. North Carolina, Syracuse. I think Syracuse's zone, very effective, but it will not stop Ellington and Lawson. I look for Carolina. I then go Louisville and Connecticut. I give edge. Louisville's pressure defense. Louisville marches on. I got Louisville in a championship game against the winner, Carolina Pitt. Carolina, too much for Pitt. Too much Lawson. Carolina. And yes, Louisville again, as Jay said, the Elite Eight. Pitino, he'll give a battle. They'll really, really battle. But Lawson will go through the pressure. Hansbrough came back to school for one purpose, the gold trophy, and they will celebrate on Franklin Street as national champs.